Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're doing a Swiss Dragons of Tarkir draft. And we opened Sunscorch Regent, so that seems like an easy pickup. I just want to take a quick second and thank everybody for all the emails over all these years. It's just really gratifying to hear from so many people, from all across the world. It's really amazing. All the people I've heard from and from all the different countries, and I just have to say, all of your English is really amazing. So I think you speak it really well, you write it very well, and it's always just really nice to hear from you guys. So I appreciate that. Okay, so easy Sunscorch Regent, which is just an awesome rare. A couple other dragons in the uncommon slot, which is nice. Other good cards in here, Twin Bolt. I like the Savage Ventmaw. Beltoll Dragon's fine. I like Ventmaw more, but it's multicolor. Stampeding Elkherd, Ojutai Summons. Actually, a few good cards in here, but pretty easy Sunscorch Regent. All right, follow-up pick. Sunbringer's Touch is okay, but I think we're likely to just follow up with an Enduring Victory. Nothing else insanely strong in here, and Enduring Victory is a good, it's a good removal spell. I like it. I haven't played the scale. I haven't played with or against the Scale Blessing yet, but I think this card is probably okay. I mean, you have to. It would be a fine card to wheel now that we have Enduring Victory and Sunscorch Regent. I don't know if that's. This pack's not very. Well, no, it's not very deep, so I don't imagine Scale Blessing tables, but there's a chance. I mean, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be super stoked about it, but based on our first two picks, it seems like a card that could work. Okay, so strongest card in this pack has to be, I think, Epic Confrontation. It's just a really remarkably strong green card. There's Artful Maneuver. There's Student of Ojutai in white. I do think Epic Confrontation is very strong. I think Artful Maneuver is also very strong. It's not as strong as Epic Confrontation, but this is like a question of, if I take Epic Confrontation and I pass Artful Maneuver and Student of Ojutai, and I don't end up in green, am I going to be in bad shape because of it? And I'm not entirely sure if that's the case. Like, for example, I could just pretty easily take the Artful Maneuver, which is a pretty solid combat trick, but I think I am going to just go ahead and take the Epic Confrontation, which is a really strong removal spell. And like I said, if green doesn't work out, I'm still okay. If green does work out, I'm pretty happy. I got this super powerful removal spell. Okay, so in white, we have Aven Tactician, which is a fine card. We have a Tarkir Beastbreaker in green, which I also like. Formidable is better for green-red, but it's fine where it is. Dromoka Monument's also a consideration. Strongest card in this pack is, I don't know. Nothing too crazy. Sprinting Warbrute, Ojutai's Breath, Hand of Silmagar maybe. So on color, a Tarkir Beastbreaker versus Aven Tactician. I'm a big fan of the Beastbreaker. I feel like the fact that it's both an early threat as well as a late game threat makes it pretty appealing. I like the Tactician too, but I think I'm going to go Beastbreaker. Dromoka Monument was a pretty good option there, I think. But I'm pretty satisfied just taking a Beastbreaker. I like that card quite a bit. All right, Artillerist would pair well with the Beastbreaker. We also have Strongarm Monk and Student of Ojutai. Strongarm Monk with Epic Confrontation actually seems really good. Epic Confrontation with Einok Artillerist isn't the worst either. So I mean, we have perfectly good options here. There's also a 5th pick Ojutai Summons, which can be a consideration as well. But I actually think the green and white picks we have in here are just fine. So Student of Ojutai with Epic Confrontation is good. It also buys us some time. It also works well with Enduring Victory. And it protects us for Sunscorch Regent. This is interesting. I think I'm going to take the Student. Okay, so now we have Dragonscarred Bear, There's a Youthful Scholar pick 6. Now that is interesting because Youthful Scholar is a very strong card. Um, However, there is some decent green cards. Granted, they're weaker than Youthful Scholar, but I mean, I haven't missed the boat on blue by any means, but do I want to just slam a Youthful Scholar here? The green picks in here are pretty good too. And at this point, basically just for Sunscorch Regent alone, I kind of want to stay in white. I mean, Sunscorch Regent is a very bomb card. I think I'm going to go Dragon Scarred Bear here. It's not nearly as good as Youthful Scholar, but I still like it. I still like it. What's Dragon Tempest do again? It's kind of cool, but not what I'm going to take. So, Sidisi's Faithful and Vulturous Haven, pretty strong, well, fairly strong card. I think it's pretty easy press the advantage here, which is a card I like. I feel like I never get to play it because I don't, but it's a good card. It's certainly a good combat trick, so we'll take it. Certainly not giving up much of anything here, so it feels like a pretty easy Evolving Wilds for a potential splash. Pretty late Deadly Wanderings, which could be a concern. Stormrider Rig is perfectly acceptable, and Territorial Rock is fine too, but I'm down with the Evolving Wilds here. That's interesting. That's a very late Ojutai Summons. And the late Youthful Scholar. Well, could also be green-blue. Maybe I do dip out of white. Otherwise, I take a second Evolving Wilds. I think Summons gets the go-ahead here. If blue is that open, I think I can take Summons and be happy. All right, we did table the Scale Blessing, which is a fine card with, I guess the cards were likely ending up cutting. Can't really splash for Sunscorch Regent, unfortunately. I could take Reduce in Stature, which is not as good pacifism, but otherwise I'm taking like a Pinion Feast, which might be okay, but I think I can at least main deck Reduce in Stature a lot easier. All right, wow. Well, now so I'm just getting the most mixed signals you could possibly imagine now. That's really weird. Do I want student number 2, or do I want? Because I figured getting these super late blue cards meant blue was open, but it didn't seem like white was open. But now we're getting late, pretty good white cards. I think I'm gonna take the Maneuver. I actually really like Artful Maneuver. All right, and then we get the Tactician. There's also Ojutai's Breath, and a Custodian of the Trove, worthy of mentioning. But I think I'll take the Tactician. It could also be white. All right. Maybe we just move into white-blue flyers. Could also be an option. Nothing really worthy of splashing green. I guess I could splash for Epic Confrontation. It's actually not the worst. Epic Confrontation seems like it's an adequate splash card, but typically when you're splashing, you want to splash more expensive cards, so you don't have to rely on them early. But I do think Epic Confrontation is fine later in the game too. Pristine Skywise, 6 mana, 6/4. Whenever you cast an non-creature spell, untap it. Gains. Yeah, it's pretty worthy of picking, I should say. All right, maybe we just straight up move into white-blue. Could be. Other notable white-blue picks. I like Echoes of the Kin Tree, Jamoka Warrior, Graceblade, but let's just slam the Pristine Skywise. Go deep on these blue-white dragons. So we're still seeing pretty good green cards, but I'm pretty motivated at this point to move into just blue-white. I felt like the late summons was a pretty good indication, and I thought white was getting cut off, but super late Artful Maneuver and Tactician is kind of counter to that. I think Jamoka Warrior is going to get the go-ahead here. I'm starting to think I'm just going to swap myself into blue-white. I certainly have enough motivation. There's some decent green cards here too, though. Salt Road Quartermasters is good. And Sidisi's Faithful's fine. But yeah, let's take the Jamoka Warrior. I like it. It's a high-pressure card. Okay, Sunstriker, Lightwalker, both very good. Loremaster bringing back Artful Maneuver and Enduring Victory currently, not bad. I think Sunstriker is probably good enough to pick here. It is a pretty expensive Megamorph, I guess. I could take the Lightwalker. I do have Enduring Victory and Aven Tactician as ways to give it flying. I think I'm still going to take the Sunstriker. It's pretty awesome with the Artful Maneuver. And actually it's pretty good with bolstering too. Yeah, that's enough reason for me. Let's take the Sunstriker here. Okay, Great Teacher's Decree versus Aven Tactician number 2. Well, this tabled last time. So I think we just take the Great Teacher's Decree and still just try and build sort of a blue-white aggressive deck. I think that could happen. All right, still pretty good green cards we're getting, but I actually, I'm not a huge Scribe fan. It does seem like blue-white would be the place for it, but I actually like the Charger quite a bit. I've mentioned this before, but I think 5 toughness and 4/5 in particular is like a really good body in this format, since all of the dragons seem to be 4 toughness or less. And that's not true, but a lot of them are. So yeah, some pretty good green cards in here, but I'm going to take the Charger. All right, I'll take a late pacifism. I could actually take Monument again as sort of a way to splash green, but I'm not even entirely convinced we have to. I think taking pacifism here is certainly correct. Okay, Sandcrafter Mage is a great pickup for us. If we can table that Lightwalker, I would be really happy. Because Lightwalker into Sandcrafter Mage is really nice. Aggressive turn progression. All right, Tactician now. There's also Void Squall. This is something I could consider. I don't think Press the Advantage is likely to happen. I think green is likely out. I'll consider the Epic Confrontation because we have the Evolving Wilds, but we don't really have... Well, the nice thing about Epic Confrontation is you don't even have to have like great bodies to make it work. Like even with Dromoka Warrior, you get a 4/3 to fight with, which is pretty good. Spellfist seems fine. Tactician, I guess, is a bit expensive. We already are a bit high on that end. I'll take the Spellfist. It seems to work really. It's going to work really well with both Artful Maneuver and Great Teacher's Decree. All right, Dromoka Warrior here is very excellent. Sidisi's Faithful seems fine. Otherwise, Ancestral Statue fits curve pretty nicely, but I guess I can return a Reduce in Stature or a Pacifism with it. It's actually not bad, but I still think I'd rather have the tempo effect of Sidisi's Faithful with like double Dromoka Warrior. I feel like that could work better for us. So we seem to be more of a... actually, you know, I think I'm more likely to sideboard into a Spider Silk Net. I've been wanting to have this as a sideboard option for a while, but I guess we already have a few flyers, so it's probably unnecessary. I guess I could take Contradict. I don't see a lot of reason that I would play it, but there's a chance. All right, Resupply, we'll cut white. I don't think I'm likely to play that. Glint actually seems fine. Not great, but Combat Trick, that's pretty good for Dromoka Warrior. Fate Forgotten for sideboard. All right, so at the beginning of the draft, I think I invited myself into green a bit too early, and I should have just stayed in white. But I still like then we open Ojutai. Beautiful. Well, good opens. Definitely good opens. And oh my god, Elite Scale Guard's in here too. That is really tough. Elite Scale Guard is pretty much... You know, I think I might just take the Scale Guard. I don't even think I'm off base here. Scale Guard is practically a rare. Honestly, this could have been a rare, and I don't think anybody would have been surprised. And there's a chance Ojutai tables? God, it's not going to table. The thing is, Ojutai takes the game over, but so does Scale Guard. Look how good Scale Guard is in this deck, too. We have Sandcrafter Mage, Sandstorm Charger, Aven Sunstriker, Regent, Victory, Tactician. Oh. I'm going to take the Scale Guard. I don't know if it's right. I think it's right. I think it is right. I think I would rather have a 5-drop that's Omega Impact on the board rather than the 7-drop that's Omega Impact on the board. Whether or not that's right, we'll find out. I think the Outcast is the correct pick here over Wandering Champ. I actually like the Wandering Champ quite a bit, but I think Outcast is ultimately the better card. I mean, problem is Wandering Champ is, this is like a very good deck for it because of the blue potential, but we don't really have that many blue to activate it. I would be playing it as a 2-mana 3/1, which is very good. But Outcast, I think giving you the potential flyer is more in line with what we're looking for here. Okay, I probably just slammed the Lotus Path Djinn. I like Abzan Sky Captain too, but I think I just like the Lotus Path Djinn more. Jeskai Runemark is a very, I think we wheel it and I might play it. There's a decent chance actually that I play Lotus Path Djinn. Shu Yun, hey, I'm down. Certainly down. I like rares and I can potentially get double strike off of it. Otherwise, I take Lotus Path Djinn number 2, which is probably a good consideration, but I want the Shu Yun. I think we're likely to cut, well, let's just cut Epic Confrontation. I don't think we need to splash. I can probably still play Evolving Wilds and get away with that. Yeah. Lotus Path Djinn and Jeskai Sage, also considerations for sure, but I want the Shu Yun. I like it. This does very much seem like a Will the Naga deck at this point because we have quite a bit of early pressure. Huge Stone Retainers seems like it actually could be. Huge Stone Retainers with Rebound is actually pretty insane. If I had more Rebound besides Great Teacher's Decree and Artful Maneuver, I'd probably consider it a lot higher. But Will the Naga is just like right in line with what we want because we look pretty gosh darn aggressive. I like it. I'm going to take it. I think we're going to cut probably Reduce in Stature maybe, or Updraft Elemental, probably not that good in this deck. Or Glint, I guess, is probably the least exciting. It's fine, but not insane. Channel Harm is something I can consider. Refocus, I guess, works well with Prowess. Am I going to play any pick here? I could play Channel Harm. There's a chance I play Channel Harm. What am I running Channel Harm over? Maybe Reduce in Stature. Maybe. I don't really like Reduce in Stature that much in this deck. Reduce in Stature I feel like is a better defensive card to buy you time. Honor's Reward seems fine in this deck. Otherwise, Enhanced Awareness. It's a very late Arc Bond. And a Right Into Being too. Right Into Being is a decent consideration. I feel like I have a pretty good creature count now, though, and Honor's Reward after Jamoka Warrior play could be hyper aggressive. What do I cut it? We really have 17 creatures with the Ojutai summons. Well, we're definitely taking Honor's Reward. Ooh, Dragon Bell Monk. Also Right Into Being, but I think Monk is going to get the go-ahead in this deck. I like the Vigilance quite a bit. I do like Right Into Being too, though. I think I like the Monk more. Right Into Being is going to work better with like Shu Yun, Lotus Path Djinn, Student of Ojutai. And that's it. I'm going to take the Monk. I think I prefer the Vigilance. All right. Soul Summons seems like a pretty good consideration. We can be a pretty nice, aggressive. I think we can be a really nice looking, aggressive blue-white deck. If I take this Soul Summons, I probably just ditch the Channel Harm. I almost want to ditch Tactician and lower our curve and maybe get away with 16 lands. Might be wishful thinking. I think I'm taking Soul Summons regardless. All right, Rite of Undoing seems fine. It's another 5-drop, but it's certainly like the best card remaining in here for us. Okay. If I table that Jeskai Rune Mark, we did. Okay. I'm pretty tempted to try and make a 16 land deck with Jeskai Rune Mark. I feel like we can be very aggressive with this deck. We'll take the Rune Mark. I'll figure out if I can make it work. God, we got Lotus Patch in and Pressure Point too. I think we're taking the Djinn. I think we're going to get away with 16 land deck, believe it or not. All right, we'll take the advantage, I guess. Neither of these cards are good, whatever. Last pick Enhanced Awareness is pretty good. Okay, so here's the thing. We have a good deck. We have to make cuts. I think Tactician's getting cut. If I'm gonna run a 16 land deck, I want to lower my curve. I'm actually pretty close to cutting Ojutai Summons. I really like the card a lot, but I think at this point I'm looking to just lower my curve as much as possible. And then I would only have to make one more cut. I think I'd probably cut the Updraft Elemental because it's a little more defensive. Let me look at what this is like. We still have a very high creature count. 17 creatures to be exact. We top out at 6 with really just one spell because Will the Naga is like not a 6-drop spell. I mean, granted, I'm cutting pretty good 5-drops, but my thing is the way this deck looks, I can be very aggressive. I think honestly, I might actually cut Student of Ojutai and go 17 lands. I could see that too. I think Rune Mark looks insane in this deck though. Double Dramoka Warrior, even Spellfist, it's good. 3/5 flyer that gets bigger. I mean, I guess, that can't be blocked thing is a little bit of redundancy with they both kind of have evasiveness to them, but it's still really good. Soul Summons isn't a white creature, so it actually doesn't work with Jeskai Rune Mark, but Rune Mark's also insane with like Dragon Bell Monk. Even a Sandstep Outcast, get 2 dudes, Rune Mark the Outcast, get 5 power flying. I do think this is a Rune Mark deck. On a Sunstriker, it's pretty insane, even though it's already got flying. So this would be a 17 land deck. Would I want to possibly run? Maybe I find a way to make Ojutai Summons work again. If I'm running 17 lands, maybe that's a better reason to run Ojutai Summons, which I do think I prefer over the Tactician. So if I run 17 lands and I want to run Ojutai Summons, what's like the card that probably has to get cut? It's a reasonable question. I kind of like the Sandstorm Charger, but maybe this isn't the deck for it. I don't want to cut our rare dragons. I think I'm still satisfied with our Elite Scale Guard pick. It feels right ultimately for what our deck does. I mean, obviously I would have been really happy with an Ojutai too, but I think Scale Guard does more for our deck. Scale Guard's a better argument for bringing in Tactician, but I think Summons is just a better card than Tactician. Maybe in this deck, Tactician's better. Beyond the Scale Guard, being able to just bolster right away to get that additional damage in could be worthy of at least mentioning. I may just run it like this. Honor's Reward, I guess, is a pick that debatably could get the axe, but God, I've won some games with Honor's Reward, let me tell you. Like on a Sunstriker, it seems so good, but clearly, Dramoka Warrior into Honor's Reward is huge. No one really expects the life gain out of nowhere, instant speed either. It's also a defensive trick. I do want we have 16 creatures currently. I wouldn't mind having more for the Great Teacher's Decree. This deck looks really good. That's the good news. We have some really powerful spells in here. Skywise, Sunscorch Regent. Shuyan is very interesting and cool too. Actually, Shuyan is really good with Artful Maneuver, Rebound, Great Teacher's Decree, Rebound. or even like a 2-mana Will the Naga plus pay for that. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with Shuyan in this deck, especially since white is our primary color. I guess Faithful is, you could argue, maybe a card I don't need. I mean, it's basically like a Void Snare in this deck, but I feel like Void Snare in this deck could be really good. What's our removal currently without the Faithful? Pacifism, Artful Maneuver, Honor's Reward, Enduring Victory, Will the Naga. Maybe I don't need the Faithful. I do feel like it's a very strong tempo card, though, in this deck. Being able to go like 2-drop, 3-drop Faithful, smash you for like, 5 to 6. That's pretty big. Plus it takes care of like auras and tokens and stuff. I do kind of want to find a way to make Ojutai's Summons or Aven Tactician work in this deck, though. Honestly, Summons also works better with our Prowess guys. Like Lotus Patch in into Ojutai's Summons is also really nice. It's challenging. I don't want to cut a 2-drop creature either. Soul Summons, like flipping Sunscorch Regent or Pristine Skywise is pretty good. Even a Lotus Patch in wouldn't be bad one to manifest. And just getting pretty consistent bear on turn 2 is nice. I kind of want to find a way to make summons work in here. If I play the summons, maybe I cut the Faithful. Could arguably cut the Will the Naga, but instead of the Faithful, but I think between Pacifism, Artful Maneuver, Honor's Reward, Enduring Victory, and Will the Naga, we probably have enough removal where I don't need the Faithful. Since, like I said, it's pretty much just a Void Snare. But Ojutai's Summons having synergies with double Lotus Path Jin, Pristine Skywise, Shu Yun, Dragon Bell Monk, all of that kind of makes me want to just do that. And we have 16 creatures with Soul Summons and Ojutai's Summons. Okay. I like the deck. I'm ultimately satisfied with where this came together. Let's bring in the Evolving Wilds and, well, I guess we need white more than blue, but they usually do something pretty obscene. So I'm much happier with like 10 white, 8 blue. That should be more than enough. Okay. I want to rate this deck pretty high. Guess there's a decent argument to cut the Charger, but the reason I like the Charger in this deck is that it gives us another finisher. Maybe we don't need it, but it does have synergies with Elite Scale Guard too. I could cut the Charger for the Faithful, and what that does is gives me more aggressive tempo plays, and I still have enough creatures. But I kind of like the Sandstorm Charger. Because then I have like a pretty good amount of finishers too. Charger. I mean, this deck's not lacking in finishers, I guess. Maybe I play the Faithful. That's tough. Faithful versus Charger now is kind of my like last second choice maybe. I like the Charger though. I like Faithful too. I think I'm gonna stick with the Charger. All right. I want to rate this deck fairly high. I'd probably give it like I'll probably give this deck a 7.5 out of 10. We have good rare count, good pressure, good finishers, good removal. There really isn't a shortcoming that's like readily apparent about this deck. So 7.5 out of 10 seems pretty fair. I can't give it like 8 or 9, I don't think, because it's not like the craziest deck I've ever drafted. It's just it looks like a pretty good, consistent, aggressive blue-white deck. All right, so let's jam it like this. I'll see you around 1.